Oh yeah,
Scatter. So,
we'll be good there. So we are now live. Welcome back, everyone. Hello, Luke.
what is
We
cooking?
we missed last week because number one, I was traveling. Number two, you dropped your phone in the pool.
Yes, I had a momentary lapse of communication, and you're like your messages are green. I wasn't even getting any of your messages, and yeah, but thankfully iOS I was able to plug in on my iPad and right back into the swing of things.
Yeah, I'm like, what the heck? How did Luke's bubble go green? And I'm
Like
like, did he? No, no way he got an Android.
no way. I I sent off a congratulatory comment to uh, a, a group chat of basketball team for this coming, and surprisingly, we had about 15 parents plugged in there, maybe more. I just said, "Congratulations for keeping this chat blue, guys." It's
Yeah, because you got to take the person out who makes it green.
like, sorry, who is that? Who did that?
So I was in San Antonio. That's why I wasn't able to do that. There was a travel day for me. I was coming back. Gotta admit, really cool city. I was able to get out and actually check out the Alamo, and I was right there staying at the Riverwalk. So,
Nice.
really cool place. And then this week, I started off the first of the week in Denver, Colorado, your
Okay.
hometown.
Yeah.
Spoke to about 300 agents there, and then on Tuesday night, after I spoke Tuesday afternoon, I flew out to Seattle, Washington, just outside Seattle,
Wow.
called Linwood, and um, uh, it was pretty cool. I spoke to about 300 there, but I there's a thing with the whole chat screen, and you got to have all blue. And I was making a joke. Well, number one, it was a theater type environment. Normally, when I speak, it's more of kind of a conference type environment. You have a
Yeah.
stage, then you have seats. But this was actually in like an auditorium, like a theater,
Okay.
backstage, curtain, everything.
Cool.
So I'm like, and I went on right before lunch, so I was like the third person on, and I'm like, I'm gonna have fun with this. So I'm sitting here trying to figure out how to do my own walk on music and such. And so I went over and talked to Sarah, who's the producer manager, and I'm like asking her how to set it up. And she's like, "What are you trying to do?" I'm like, "Well, I want to play some music. I want to hype these guys up." I'm like, "I'm going on and going right into lunch." And she's like, "Well, we could probably do that for you." I'm like, "Really?" She's like, "There's one thing we could do is the put on a show." She goes, "What song do you want?" I said, "Thunderstruck" by AC/DC. And she puts on her radio and she's like, "Can we do that for him?" They're like, "Yeah, we could do that for you." I'm like, "Really?" So she's like, "Yeah, we can even dim the lights and bring it up." I'm like, "That's awesome. Do you got a smoke machine?" She's like, "We do, but we can't set it up in like 10 minutes." I'm like, "Okay." So I go out on stage and I have video of it. Next time I'll show it to
I
you.
was gonna say. I was gonna say. I hope you recorded this.
So I go
Put
out,
it in
it's
your.
my turn, and I'm fumbling around, I'm setting up my laptop because I'm gonna have to have slide deck, and then I come out, I'm like, "Hey guys, are you guys okay with having a little bit of fun here?" I'm like, because the one thing that I know about real estate agents is that there's a there's an equation for a great event. I said you've got to have learning. I said we got that. I'm going to share that with you. You got to have food. We're going to get food right after this. I said you got to have booze, and then at the end we're going to have beer and wine. I said, but you also have to have fun. So are you guys okay if we have some fun here? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, okay. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to go back off stage, and then we're gonna turn on some music, dim the lights, and I'm gonna come and do a walk on, and I'm gonna record everyone. Just can you guys just get up and just go crazy? Let's show people what we're really about. And everyone's like, yeah, yeah, let's do it. So I go off stage, and I cue Sarah. Lights dim, and all of a sudden you hear the beginning of Thunderstruck. The guitar rip, and then
Yes.
I'm like, okay, so I use my mic and I change my voice. I'm like, "Ladies and gentlemen," and so here I come out right when it just starts. The beat drops, and people start standing up and they're clapping, and they're just like, it was just such a cool Such a cool
Bro,
thing.
that is freaking awesome.
I
What
know.
a tip of the hat to for manufacturing your own hype video, dude. That is so freaking cool.
I only got a little bit of footage though. Someone was recording the back, so he got a really good side of my thinning crown. But he got the front, and I have it a few of them when I'm doing a selfie while I'm doing my own announcement, and then when I
Yeah.
ran out on stage, I got some pictures and I got some selfies uh, doing
Should
that. So
should query the crowd to see if anybody got video of it.
yeah. But anyways, here's why I bring that up. In my experience in the real estate community, my friend community, like 95% are all on iPhones. Well, only 5%. So throughout my presentation, I was just poking fun at Androids. You know, let me clean up some bandwidth here because I'm because when a slide comes up, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna give you guys some time to take pictures of this. And then it went for like, okay, so for those of you on Android, I'm going to give you another 5 seconds, just so you can figure out how to do it. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And so the whole time I was just teasing people on Android, because they're the
Oh
ones that are like,
man,
hurry up, get an iPhone.
You're like, you know what? I don't really have to worry about losing any market share here. You're weeding out the folks that you probably don't want to do business with. So
Yeah, yeah.
love it.
So I guess we
Polarity.
should talk a little bit about what's going on in the real estate and mortgage and technology world. Interesting thing that we're seeing, I don't know if you've been following, I think you probably have because we typically follow the same things, is the bond market is inverting again. So the 10-year treasury, pretty much all the treasuries have a four handle on it again. So that means
Mm-hmm.
interest rates are going up. But then the jobs numbers, they tanked. We've lost about 1 million full-time jobs in the last 12 months, and interest rates going up. So that half point rate drop that everybody was like thinking the Fed needed to do to lower rates, well, that kind of backfired. And um,
The great refi boom of 2024
yeah, yeah,
from all 3 weeks of it.
yeah. And you know what? The mortgage rates that are promoted on these national websites are not the mortgage rates that people are getting with their local loan officer or banker.
Yeah.
So online, I looked at it a day or two ago, probably 2 days ago, and they were pushing 6.6, something like that, for a 30-year conventional. And what I'm hearing from the local reps, like, no, it's more of a seven handle
Mm.
on that. And here's the thing: prices will come down, and we're seeing it in Texas. We're seeing in Texas that
Right.
prices are starting to come down. We're starting to see it in California, even not in Orange County, but inland into the Inland Empire, into the Riverside. Those are starting to have downward pressure on prices. Florida, God forbid, geez,
Right.
horrible what happened in Florida, but their prices were already coming down, and now with all the damage and everything, I think you're going to see the defaults tick up. I think you're going to see people walking away. A lot of people weren't insured. So, I mean, that just adds another layer of complications onto
Right.
it. So, what do you think about that?
Yeah. I mean, it's the so many different things that are putting pressure on stuff. Um, the from I was curious on like your boots on the ground type stuff with plugging into all these people, how they're like the general vibe of people, because there seemed to be like some enthusiasm throughout the summer, but that enthusiasm to me seems like it's starting to wane a lot from from people that are boots on the ground, the agents and lenders that are doing the day to day. Still seems to be decent amount of optimism, but it's starting to seem like it's that pessimistic view is starting to rear its head again.
You know what I and this has been what, 26 years in the industry, and one thing that I have learned is that typically the majority is always wrong. If you want to bet on something, on which way the market's going, what's going to happen, don't listen to what you see that's coming out on Inman. Don't look on what's on NBC or CBS. They're typically wrong. And we're starting to see
Right.
it right now. I think that real estate professionals, mortgage professionals, are typically very optimistic because they're entrepreneurs.
Right.
But what's interesting is that they really don't. You ever read that book, The E Myth?
Hmm.
Can't remember. Yeah, in the book E Myth, and for those watching, it has nothing to do with electronics. It was named before. This is a book that's been around for a while. It's the entrepreneurial myth, and in there it talks about a true entrepreneur. You know, most people are operators. Most people are in the business, and then they get into the business. Like if you're an electrician, you open an electrician company or an electric company. A realtor opens a brokerage. They don't do it, but a true entrepreneur, you, my friend, are a true entrepreneur because I know your past. You find something within the market that fills a gap, and you go and invest time, effort, and resources into it. Kind of like what you did with your Redbox, kind of like with what you're
Hmm.
doing now. Um, but real estate agents typically, even though they're 1099, they're independent contractors, they're typically not the definition of an entrepreneur.
Right.
They, they follow a path. They're doing real estate. They're doing real estate regardless of the market, either they're selling or leasing or what form of
Yeah.
function. And it wasn't until I read the ebook E Myth that I realized that was me too.
Mm.
And that's what really kind of opened my eyes. But here's the thing with the real estate industry is that we're really doing people a disservice because most people are only given the stage to the people who give the sunshine and rainbow
Right.
speech, the soft landing speech. Nobody is even considering the possibility that the alternative could happen, that we have a hard landing, that you know prices are going to continue to go up, uh, unemployment's going to continue to go up, and how do you adjust for that? So when I was talking, I got a lot of great reviews when I talk about the modern consumer journey. You know, I've been
Hmm.
talking about this for what, 15 years? Well, we didn't know each other that long, but definitely probably for 10. And we talk about it all the time on this, is that homes will sell.
Right.
Jim Rohn says is that the same wind blows on us all, and the difference in arrival between you and your goals is the set of your sale. You and I did really, really great in the Great Recession, while all of our friends and colleagues were having bankruptcy, having a hard time, and going
Right.
to wars. You and I, we did really, really well because we adjusted our sale. And by giving somebody false weather news, by giving somebody the false direction and speed of the wind, that's gonna cause them to set a different sail. Even if you just give each side an
Right.
equal amount of time to give their point of view and let somebody make a decision based on what they believe, at least they're setting the sail based on them instead of kind of steering them down
Yeah.
down a path. So I think that there's always going to be optimism. I think more people are becoming pessimistic because the things that they've been being told, the math isn't coming out right. They're keep on telling that 2 plus 2 is
Right.
9, 2 plus 2 is 9, 2 plus 2 is 9, but now they're realizing no, 2 plus 2 is 4,
Right.
and shame on you guys because you guys have been giving me bad info.
Right.
But go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it's interesting you bring that up and that like the promotion and attraction of like the sunshine and rainbows angle. I was just having um a meeting with my team earlier today on that, and it was like we're talking about the importance of, or not necessarily the like the aspect of like, hey, a lot of these, like a lot of the people that we work with and our clients and stuff, like they're attracted to the, how to get leads, how to automate your business, how to use AI to do this and that. I was like, but at the end of the day, the vast majority of them, you know, what they really need is just a little like more help with like mindset and managing expectations and like so it's like this moment of like getting real with people like, hey, you're in sales, like you got to sell, like this is not like you're in sales and marketing, you're not,
That's it.
you know, like like you need to focus and get really like really good at that stuff and not get so caught up with like you know so the old sell them what they want, give them what they need type of thing. So it's like wrap it in but yeah, it's that nobody's nobody wants to hear the doom and gloom. You need to get better at sales and have a better mindset and
Yeah.
this and that type. Like nobody's gonna pay money for that. Nobody wants to hear that. Nobody, you gotta so yeah, it's that the 2 plus 2 is 9. And by the way, first we got to realize that it is 2 plus 2 is 4 first, then we
Let's
can
make
make
sure
that
we're all
two.
doing the same math.
Yes.
Because now we have
So
Common Core. So 2 plus 2 could very well mean 9 in Common Core.
right.
One of the things that I shared with agents that I often share with agents, and I don't talk with many mortgage brokers unless they're supporting them and they come to one of the events,
Yeah.
but it applies to them as well, is that we have two jobs. When you break things down to the least common denominator, and this is true for all sales, not just real estate, not just for mortgage, it's true for all sales. Your job is to generate leads, and your job is to convert those leads into appointments and business. That's it. Period.
Hmm.
Everything else, yes, it's important. But what's most important is that if you want to get more commission checks, if you want to get more closings, if you want to get more deals, more sales, then you need to generate more leads. And you need to
Right.
convert those more leads. So it's interesting what you just said. We're in sales and marketing. Well, what that breaks down to on finding leads, that's in prospecting and attraction. That's hunting and fishing and gathering and trapping. The
Right.
second part of that is skill development, knowing your job, knowing what you do, getting really, really good at the service that you provide, getting really, really good of knowing what to say, how to say it, when to say it,
Right.
not just verbally, because that's an analog channel, but written too, copywriting.
Yeah.
But then also going back to verbally, you in this day and age, if you're in growth mode, if you want to grow your database and you want to really work with those clientels, you have got to get into video. You've got to get in video. That's why you and I started doing this, is because we started talking. We're like, God, we should have recorded that. And
Right.
and we do have a following, not a large following. I think if we put more time and effort into it, that we would generate more. But I think that if you're not doing the things where the consumer is at in 2024, your business is going to continue to adjust in a direction that you don't want it to go.
Right. For sure.
Yeah. And I can hang my hat on that one. So where are we at on time? Okay, 8:52. You have top of the hour. It's really unfortunate what's going on in Florida. I think that's going to do a really big shakeup on the real estate industry, especially within that Tampa, St. Pete area that's kind of going through. It looks like a lawnmower just went right through it, and a lot of those people don't have insurance, so
Yeah,
that's going
that's
to them.
the insurance aspect of a home purchase is such a important variable that that often doesn't necessarily get the significance that it should. I mean, especially, I'm sure it's going to get more and more so in that market, but like, imagine that's your market and no insurance companies are going to insure any properties there for how long, right?
Maybe
Like
indefinitely.
who's going to come in there like in any time in the near future and insure anything? Like, so like you, unless you're paying cash for stuff, you're not going to be able to get a loan on a property in that area without being able to get, the insurance for, to back that up. So it's
Yeah.
like you're, dead in the water for a lot of things. And that's been, I've heard a lot of people and like it, like in Texas down like in the Houston market, that's another thing that's like really driving, in a price crunch with just simple math, like making things unaffordable for a lot of people. Okay, you got your mortgage, you got your insurance, your principal and interest, but when the insurance is like this outsized proportion of that many of them don't like begin to calculate, very quickly gets on, you know, people just simply can't qualify for things.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Let me show you that app that I use that I don't get anything from, but I should.
Time to reach out
Yeah, time to reach
for
out. But the only
like it's been
state,
6 weeks straight, right?
dude, there's uh, what, 3 states in the United States that have the inventory's gone down. Everyone else, look at Florida, up 60%, Texas up 31. These
the
darker
fact that
orange.
the fact that New York's inventory has gone down is so,
Well, let's see how
like,
this
that
performs
math
for us.
just doesn't math to me.
Yeah, but what we need to look at though, I bet you when we click on this, what we're going to see is, I mean, look how uh, inventory went really down by 20%, 22%, 2021 went up, but prices, I bet you when we look at prices and home affordability for that same area, let's go into, yeah, see, prices have skyrocketed.
Right.
So inventory is down. People have 3% interest rates. Prices are going up. Rates are at 7%. So nobody wants to sell. Nobody wants to buy. But that too will change. And if we go
No.
over here into California, and let me break that and let me go into county, and we'll break this into the area that you and I both know of is Riverside County, because I just saw. So we got Riverside County right here, and okay, so year over year, the values have, they went down and now they're going back up. But when we start looking at the market trends, the inventory, so our inventory is up 45%. So look, got 1,800 homes year over year. Like that's a big increase.
Hmm.
So you're going to start seeing a little bit more compression on there. At the end of the day, Luke, supply and demand. At the end of the
Yeah.
day, supply and demand. If the U.S. government did not, if no one ever supplemented mortgages, this is true with student loans. This is true with pretty much anything. This is true with the sugar industry. If they didn't support it, if they didn't supplement it, our whole thing would just look a whole lot different. If
Right.
and I just saw this thing in, I think it was Orange County, where the county is starting to provide down payment assistance. They put money aside for down payment assistance, 3.5%. Of course, it's going to be an FHA loan. And I always laugh at this because I'm like, very few areas even qualify for FHA loans just from the loan limit.
Right.
Like maybe, parts of Santa Ana, Garden Grove, uh,
Right.
maybe East LA. But even when you start looking at these considered lower income areas within Southern California, it's still $700,000-$800,000 to get into it.
Right.
So I don't know. I think that people need to focus on the three now business: death, divorce, and default.
Yeah, man.
And there's still a window of opportunity for them to do that. They could come up with a lead magnet, a free report on how to do whatever you want to do with death, divorce, and default. Take that to a landing page. Start throwing just a few $100 at it for online advertising. Maybe get a direct response physical newsletter campaign out to it to drive it to a landing page, drive it to a webinar. That by itself will help people. But what do we know? What do we know? We're the few people amongst our group of friends that did really, really well during the Great Recession.
Right. Oh, man.
All right, so we gotta go top of
Beautiful.
The hour. It's 8:59. It's always good to talk to you.
Nailed it.
And we will see you next week.
Rock and roll, my friend.
Bye.